Hello students. Uh, in today's lecture we are going to start the second unit, that is engineering materials. Uh, go through the syllabus for the second unit. In second unit there are 4 points in your syllabus. First point is stress strain relationship for ductile material and for brittle material. So in today's lecture we are going to study the stress strain relationship for ductile material. Okay, this is the stress strain curve for ductile material. Stress strain curve for ductile material. To be very precise, this is a curve for mile scale. Okay, this is curve for mile scale. Okay. So before starting this stress strain relationship for ductile material, we will go through the basic test that gives us this curve. That test is tension test. Tension test. You have already performed this test in the subject theory of engineering design. In that subject, we have performed this tension test on universal testing machine. But before studying this stress strain relationship, we will just take a brief overview of this tension test, how this tension test is being performed, and how this curve is being drawn. And after that, we will study different points on this curve. So, in this tension test, one sample is taken. This is a sample, standard sample. This is a standard sample of a material which is being tested. For this example, mild steel is the material. So a sample of standard sample of mild steel is being taken and ends are prepared so that this sample can be easily fixed in the machine, universal testing machine. This is the gauge length. Gauge length is marked on the sample. This gauge length is L0 and the diameter is D0. Okay. So a standard sample is to be taken and this sample is fixed in universal testing machine and a tensile force P is applied to this sample. Okay. And one table is prepared for different values of P. Suppose initial value is P, then P1, P2, different values of like this, different values of applied tension force. So as this sample is applied with axial tension force, due to this axial tension force, what will happen? This gauge length, which is L0 now initially, due to this axial tension force, this sample will deform axially. So there will be an elongation in axial direction. So that elongation is nothing but change in length. So final length minus original length, L minus L0. So that elongation or that particular value of load is recorded. For suppose this is L1, then L2, likewise. Okay. So for particular load, elongation is also recorded. Now come to the next point, stress and strain. So stress is force upon original cross-sectional area. So original diameter is D0. So original cross-section area will be A0. A0 is equals to pi by 4 into D0 square. Original diameter square. So this is the original cross-section area. So dividing this force P with original cross-section area, this will give us the value of stress for that particular load. And strain is nothing but deformation upon original gauge length. This is elongation is nothing but deformation. So taking this value of L divided by original gauge length is L0. So from these two values we can calculate strain. So here we can put the value of strain and here stress. So after taking this value of stress and strain for one load, then gradually the load is increased to another value, higher value. The second value may be, suppose this is P1, this is P2. Then for that second value, again the sample is elongated. So due to this elongation, we can again calculate the stress for second load, can calculate strain for second elongation. So likewise, we can calculate all the values of stress and strain. And all these values of stress and strain are plotted on this. The curve is plotted on this graph. So on y-axis, stress is being taken, and on x-axis, strain is taken. So this is a sample or a standard curve for mild steel or a ductile material. So now we will see different points on the this stress strain curve. All the points on this curve. So first point is point P. Point P, you can see that up to the point P, this relationship between stress and strain is linear relation, because this line O to P is a straight line. Okay, and after point P, this line deviates from this straight path. So point P is the proportional limit. Okay, so we can say that after point P, this relationship between stress and strain is not linear, or stress strain curve deviates from the straight line path. Okay, so there is one important concept at point P, that is modulus of elasticity. Modulus of elasticity is nothing but ratio of stress and strain up to the point P, or proportional limit. We can write this modulus of elasticity E is equals to stress upon strain, but this is only up to point P. Okay, so after that point P, there is one more point. That point is E, that is elastic limit. So elastic limit is the limit up to which all the elongation, we have seen that this sample is undergoing a elongation. So if elongation is elastic, so that point is called as elastic limit. Beyond this point E, the elongation or a deformation that is happening in the sample is permanent deformation. Up to point E, if the load is removed, then this deformation will diminishes and the body regain its original shape and size. So original gauge length will recover after the removal of the load up to point E. After point E, if the load is increased, then the deformation that will be happening will be a permanent deformation. We call it a plastic deformation. So this is a limiting point, okay, for the elastic deformation. So we call it as a elastic limit. But in many cases, what happens? This point P and point E are very close to each other. So we cannot distinguish between these 2 points. So many times these 2 points are taken as a one point. Okay. But actually, in theoretical we can say that these are 2 different points. First is proportional limit up to which stress strain relation is linear relation. We can say linear relation. And after that is elastic limit. So original shape and size of this sample is regained. But beyond that point, there is permanent set or permanent deformation or plastic deformation in a body. Okay. So the next point is Y1, that is upper yield point, and after that there is again second point Y2, this is lower yield point. So before going into these 2 concepts, first of all, understand the concept of yielding. Yielding is something that there is a marked deformation without increasing the load. Up to this point, you see here that up to this point what is happening? Stress is increasing, strain is increasing. Again stress increases, strain increases. Here also stress increases, strain increases. So both are increasing. But after point E, after elastic limit, what happens? There is marked increase in strain. Marked increase in strain, but there is no increase in load. Or we can say that without increase in load, if the deformation increases, then that is called as yielding. Okay. So there are two yield points, upper yield point and lower yield point. This happens only in ductile material. In ductile material, what happens? The after elastic limit, yielding starts, and at the point of yielding, there is certain drop in load. That drop point is called as lower yield point, and the higher point is called as upper yield point. Again, in many materials, there is no separate lower and upper yield point. So we take a common point, that is the common yield point. And after two yield point, again material starts to take stress strain curve on higher side, because after yielding, what happens? Due to strain hardening, material becomes harder, and due to this hardness, again the stress increases and strain increases, and at one point it reaches to the maximum stress, that is called as ultimate strain. This is the maximum value of stress that can occur in that material, and after that ultimate strain point, curve starts to drop a little bit, and after some strain point, the material fractures into two. So here what happens? A neck is formed here. Neck is formed here. So cross sectional area reduces drastically at certain point, and this neck formation will happen. And at this neck, the material fractures in two parts. So that point is a fracture point. But fracture point is not a highest stress point. Highest stress point or maximum stress point, you can say this is the maximum stress. Maximum stress. That is, ultimate strength is the maximum stress that can occur in that particular material. That fracture point is not a maximum stress point. Okay. From design point of view, we have to consider 2 points in this curve very deeply. First point is yield point, because all the design we are going to study are concentrated on the yield point. This is the basic criteria. Yield strength for ductile material. For ductile material, the stress that we are going to consider while designing is the yield stress. And for brittle material that we are going to consider, that is ultimate stress. So you have to consider these 2 points very deeply. So again, there is one more concept. In few materials, there is no clear yield point. In this case, we directly can see that this is the lower yield point and this is the upper yield point, because it is clearly visible in the curve. But in some cases, the curve is like this. Curve is like this. This is the strain. This is the stress. And now we can't see the yield point here. This is a proportional limit. You can clearly see the curve is straight up to this point, and after that curve is deviated. And but here there is no clear yield point. So how to identify that yield point? Because we need a yield strength for design purpose. So for that there is one method which is called as offset method. Offset method. In this method, what we assume is that permanent set of 0.2% of gauge length we consider yield point at permanent set of 0.2% of gauge length. So this is a strain side on x-axis. So we mark the point at 0.2% of gauge length. This is a strain. Strain is a unit case quantity. Strain is change in length upon original length. So on the numerator and denominator both are length. So units are cancelled. So strain is a unitless quantity. So 0.02% means 0.002 in the strain. So we mark a point here which is 0.002 and take it parallel to the proportional limit point. So this to to this line we take it parallel like this, and the point on the curve here we take yield point. So this is the method of offset method to find out the yield point. In some material where there is a heat treatment, heat treated and cold drawn steel. Cold drawn and heat treated steel don't show the clear yield point. So for that case, we find out the yield point by offset method. We take the permanent set of 0.2% on strain curve, strain axis, and then mark a parallel line to the initial proportional limit up to proportional limit, and then point y is find out on the curve. This is the yield point by offset method. Okay. So we have seen the stress strain relationship for ductile material. We have seen the curve. So there is clear yield point, ultimate point, and fracture point. But in case of a brittle material is a material in which there is not a significant plastic deformation. So material don't deform after application of load, but it suddenly fractures. So for that material, the curve, stress strain relationship curve is like this. So there is no proportional limit, no elastic limit, because material don't deform elastically. Material directly fails or fracture, sudden and total fracture. So in that case, there is only one point, very significant point, that is ultimate tensile strength. Okay, so there is no other point in this curve.